these are the side doors, made from 8mm thick steel, very heavy and slightly uncooperative at the minute. To open them, there's like a square tool which fits into that slot and then pushes this out in theory and allows the door handle to move. This one's not working so well. This one's working a bit better, it's sliding out easier and it allows full rotation. You can see there's a little catch that engages in a slot, which you can see better on this armour plate for the engine cover, and that in theory locks it. But they're a right bitch to use. There we go. And to be honest, I'm not sure I want to be trapped in a vehicle that is possibly going to burst into a fire at any point and not be able to get out. So I'll have to think about those. Also, this is not accurate. I think it's a new handle that's been welded into place here. These look to be correct though, although I don't think it's for this particular vehicle. I'm a bit concerned about these door handles. It's going to require two hands to use them, to open them, and if you're in a hurry or perhaps potentially injured, that might not be a viable option. So I'm going to take them off and reuse them. I'll probably take the handle off and reuse them on the engine covers. This should be fine there. So first things first, I think it's all held together by these pins, which I'm going to try and get out. Success, I've got it out. Bearing in mind for the future, trying to get it out with that, that is too thick and it just got wedged in there and I had to spend 5 minutes getting back out again. But yeah, so we can see what it's like on the inside now, and that'll be useful. We can use those on the engine hatches, because I think that's probably where they're designed to go anyway, once we've got that nasty handle taken off. So I've taken the handles off, given them a bit of a clean up, a bit of a respray. They look okay, so I'm going to put those on the back of the engine hatches. It's a fairly simple piece of technology, a spring and a catch. So you have to push that in order for it to move and unlock. This one is jammed, unfortunately. And this is the outer piece that slots in, and then it's secured with this pin. So I'm going to free this up and put it onto one of the engine covers. Thanks to Clint Freeman, who found me a picture of the rear engine hatch open, you can see that the old door catches probably started out on the engine hatches. So my guess was right, and I'm happy to put them back on there. So I've got the replica doors to work from. They are the correct size, and I've got some useful information from books and the internet on what the doors should look like on the inside, so I've been able to extrapolate that and come up with some reasonable calculations for the various bits and pieces. And luckily I've found some steel stock that I've got hanging around from a previous project, because I can't get out to the shops to buy any. So this is going to become the door handles for the two, and I've got some plain sheet steel 3mm which I'll be able to make up the other flat sections from. So that's what I'm going to plan to do today. One word of warning though, because the plate the door attaches to is at an angle, anything you measure from a photo will be foreshortened. Luckily I know the angle of the plates, so can work out the original sizes from the measured images. Here's the scaled up door handles, for example. There's effectively two parts to the handle. an outer piece which fits in the door, and an inner piece joined together with a securing pin. First I worked on the outer piece using what I had with the original catches as a guide. I used two types of washer to replicate the original. The outer one had a slightly larger hole and the inner one I cut with a square hole. Then I drilled in two places to weld them together before grinding back smooth. Then it was just a matter of cutting the inner tube section to size and welding it on. The inner handle I cut from 3mm plate. I decided to make it in sections and weld them together for ease of manufacture. The handle needed to be shaped over the anvil first and then bent in a vise. As the inner handle is turned, it acts as a lever to raise or lower a bar that locks the bottom of the door in place. The bar is connected to the handle by a rivet, and that needs to be put in so that it can rotate smoothly. Then finally, the inner and outer pieces are secured together with a pin. There are a number of equipment mountings, including this section, which has a pair of C-clips riveted to it for holding the gas mask breathing tubes. At this point I welded on the primary handles. Attached to this by a bolt is the equipment carrier via the horizontal bar that the bread bag is fitted onto. The last thing I'm going to make is this little spacer arrangement that you can see on the photograph of the original. It's probably not going to be quite exactly correct, but hopefully it'll be close enough that it'll look right. The original photo shows bolts, sort of hex bolts. Planning to use M5 ones initially, so that if I mess it up, I get to have another go with M6 and then M8. And the reason why I'm saying about messing it up is because I've never used this particular tool before. It's this one. It's for cutting a thread. So the plan is to drill a small hole into the armoured door, just slightly smaller than the thread required. So if it's an M5, I'm going to go for 4.5mm, and then use the tool to cut the grooves of what would have been the bolt into the door, so that the bolt will then fit. We'll see how we go with that. I've marked up approximately where I think it should be going, and I've got it on the workmate ready to start doing the drilling. It's very heavy, this door, so I've got it clamped down in 4 places because I don't want that falling on my toes, especially now the weather's so nice I don't have to wear shoes. Anyway, so I'm going to try drilling this armour and see how we do. So just going to start with some centre punch marks, and then I'll put in a pilot hole. Okay. Got the drill on a slow setting, got some oil in the hole. It's a 2.5mm drill that I'm using as the pilot. I'll just see how it goes. It's cutting reasonably well. Now I'm going to step it up to 4.5, which is the closest I've got to the 425, which is recommended for the cutter. We'll see how that goes. So that's the cutting tool. I've set it up for the M5. I'm going to give it a go. Never tried one of these before. Hope it goes okay. As I understand it, it's a half turn and then a quarter turn back to free up. seems to have cut a really good, nice thread. Just see if I can fit this in. Yeah, that's going really well. Success! We learned something new. Brilliant. So that's the door pretty much done, and the door handle, please excuse the terrible welding, does actually work. So I'm quite pleased with that. Should lock into place quite nicely. We'll just have to do the other one now. Just had time to put a few bits on the door, a couple of things just to make it look a little bit more authentic. There's the bread bag, which is in the right place, and the spare MG34 barrel holder. I think normally they had containers there for the hoses for the gas mask, but I think I've seen some late war photos where they had additional machine gun spare barrel cases there. Maybe as the thought of poison gas went away, I don't know. But I'll do a bit of research on that. But it fits quite nicely, so I might keep it there anyway. Okay, well, thanks a lot, and see you soon.